speaking of breaking the rules, it happened.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jontay Porter is it served or levered? People were saying some L word. Again, lifetime ban.
Lifetime ban is what I saw, yeah.
It was...
But yeah, for his involvement, for I guess proven. I don't know if this investigation was a legal investigation or not, or if it was just the NBA, like a first party investigation, didn't bring in anybody else, or I would assume there has to be some sort of legal involvement in this.
I feel like that would have to come from the gambling platform side.
Oh, they would have to like press charges, basically.
I don't know. This is just straight up guessing, but I feel like the NBA side would be, you broke our rules. And I also, you broke our rules. You're done for forever.
Yeah. Shaving points it's a cardinal sin of any sport.
So what he did was disclosed medical information about himself to a friend. Everyone assumes it's a friend, to someone that he also knew was an NBA bettor.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that I've seen, and I didn't read through the whole NBA's literally 3 pages, because I think that it was like setting a precedent of like, this is going to be our lay of the law now, is he also intentionally was done earlier than he might have been if he didn't know that the NBA bettor was putting money on the game.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
He intentionally got to a certain amount of minutes and then quit.
And then said, I need to be done now.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, which is wild, just absolutely nuts to do that.
And he apparently was a very active bettor, had multiple accounts linked to his name before he was on an NBA team. In between because he was out of the league for like 4 years. He came in the league like the year after his older brother.
MPJ.
Yeah, and was on the Grizzlies for like a year, not even, and then was out of the league and then just came back this year. So, but in between that time, apparently he was an avid bettor on like multiple leagues. But apparently it was a conflict of interest that he had some sort of issue that came up at one point with somebody being concerned that his brother, was on a team, and so he shouldn't be betting on NBA games, basically.
Which, that is wild to me. Stretching it that far.
Yeah.
If, let's say, Jontay Porter just gets like an aggressive slap on the wrist, doesn't get a lifetime ban, and then like they have a third brother or something that's like placing all these bets, maybe, but like Michael Porter Jr. is giving you no reason to think that like that would be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like talking with your family, like, yeah, I hurt my ankle, whatever. You know what I mean? That's quite wild. The thing that I do think is interesting is I think that Jontay Porter will be like, honestly, more of a household name because of like this than he ever would have been as a basketball player.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He'll be like the precedent for the NFL. He'll be the precedent for just any athlete engaging in anything.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is like the outside, like, let's say that he didn't intentionally get to a minutes and then leave. If he just would have like been talking to a buddy and then was like,
it was a tip, basically.
My eye hurts.
And he wasn't even trying to make it line up so that his friend would win a bet. He just gave a tip as like, oh, that's likely that would happen, Because I feel like that's going to be the precedent that like every league will go on now is going to be anything medical. If you divulge it to someone that, I don't know how you figure out if they know they're a sports bettor or not. I don't know how you would do that. Obviously, in Jontay Porter's case, it seems like he was very aware that his buddy was. It was not a. Yeah, and to be clear, when we're saying this is like at the least. Like
this is
because that's illegal. Like we know at least that he disclosed confidential information,
personal medical information to someone that he knew was an NBA bettor.
Yeah. And so that is the least of it. It could have even been this person was placing bets on behalf of him. That isn't proven necessarily. Like theoretically, that could be even what it was. But yeah, I think the reason why this punishment was so harsh, I guess, a full lifetime ban, was for what you're saying, like making an example out of him, like he's the precedent to show that like the NBA doesn't mess around with this, and this is a pretty easy player to do that with, somebody that was like on the fringe of a roster.
No, it's not impacting your image because it's not a star. It's not a guy that has
think about what if I've heard somebody say this, so this is an original thought to me, but if this was MPJ and not Jontay, so his brother instead.
I don't think it's a lifetime ban.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Jontay's not I don't want to say star, but not Jontay, geez Louise. Michael Porter Jr. is not enough of a star, but he's like
very important to
a face.
Yeah.
Like he's something that people would like, oh wow, guys that high up in the NBA are doing, and he's not even high, but like guys at that level.
Good starter.
No, he's not household, but he's known. If you know basketball, you know who Michael Porter Jr. is.
Yeah, easily.
Very easily. Jontay Porter, there's some dudes that are basketball guys that were like,
who's that?
Who? Yeah. And honestly, as dumb as it sounds, I didn't connect the Michael Porter Jr. dots until you talked about it. I don't know if it's because Porter Jr., like, the junior throws me down a different rabbit hole in my brain.
And they're so close in age, and they don't look very much alike.
Yeah. So I think that this was just an example was being made, and I think it'll be used by every professional sporting entity as a like, well, that's what the NBA did, so we have to be that strict.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
Yeah. I mean, Pete Rose, didn't he get a pretty harsh?
He's still not in the Hall of Fame.
He's barred from the Hall of Fame, isn't he? Like,
which is stupid, in my opinion, because Pete Rose didn't even do this.
He was betting on himself to win.
I'm going to be better than you.
Yeah.
And I want to make extra money because I'm better than you.
That feels like that shouldn't even be against the rules, to be honest. Betting on yourself to win.
And even if it's not team, it's just me I am directly better than you.
I actually think that would be more of an issue than the team winning.
Or just the team winning, you think is the like
that's
should
like
be fine.
How is there anything wrong with that? But I could see maybe personal stats, because then it becomes like more about you getting the personal stats than actually winning the game. But
that's still fair.
I mean, still, you could argue some people are like that already without the betting.
Yes. No.
You know,
I would say a large number of people are like that. I also wonder if this is going to be the death of the player stats specifics, where it's
for the bets for over-unders.
If it'll just turn into, instead of betting on Jokic over 35 points, it'll be those will just go away, and it'll just be teams. No, that's been a discussion for a long time. At the minimum, I think it gets rid of it in college.
Oh. I
think college. I argue that college already shouldn't have that.
Are they losing a lot of money to those?
No, I just think that the leagues will that'll be a thing that gets a sacrificial lamb, one could say, to keep gambling around in full. Because I think that this will also make something governmentally be done at like a federal level, probably.
Wow. Because or
at least put more eyes on it. Is probably the best way to put it.
I've heard apparently that they like if you're affiliated with the NBA at all, and this is the reason why people think he might have been having the friend bet on his behalf, it's because if you're affiliated with the NBA at all, work for any team or anything like that, your name, your like email and phone number,
everything's put into a database.
Yeah, and like it's checked like monthly to make sure that you're not putting money on anything anywhere. Basically.
Well, and I know that like every league takes it really seriously. Like the NBA, obviously, we saw that they took the Jontay Porter situation seriously. But like famous Nebraska Cornhusker Will Compton is a very not great football player. I mean, he was in the NFL, but he was a special teamer in the NFL. Nothing special. He does a podcast for Barstool.
Yeah.
And when he was trying to go back into the NFL, they were going to make him retroactively pay back all of the money he had made gambling, and they were going to make him delete all the episodes that talked about him gambling, and they were going to
make gambling on what? On
football.
Just like other people. Why? Why does that matter?
That is why I don't know.
Okay.
But it was like, I mean, like he was like the exact same level of player.
But he wasn't betting on himself. Right? He was in a conflict of interest, right?
No, he wasn't even playing when he was making the bets.
So I don't see why that would even be an issue.
But he was trying to go back into the NFL, and the NFL's like rules were
You
You have
can't.
to you have to pay everything back. You have to delete all the episodes. You have to unaffiliate yourself with Barstool because they have a sports book. You have to do all of these things.
That is insane.
Yeah. One, I get the reasoning of like the entity of the NFL or the NBA or the NHL or the MLB itself wanting to be like, keep gambling things away from our personnel.
But they don't do that. They have like
I know.
all these deals with them. Like they have sponsorships with FanDuel and
The official gambling partner of the NFL, NBA, whatever.
Yeah. So why is it an issue if somebody has put bets on something completely unrelated to them, like a normal member of society?
I am a choir in this situation. You're preaching. That
is insane. But yeah, shout out to Will Compton.
Big fan.
Yeah. Apparently he knows, at least has been told about our podcast before.
What?
Yeah, from my cousin, because my cousin and him were teammates.
No way.
Yeah, in college. Tyler Leagate, shout out to my cousin.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, he told me about. He just basically, this was maybe a year ago, last Thanksgiving, not this past one, but the one before. My cousin just told me that he had mentioned my podcast to Will when he had talked to him. And asked him like for advice and stuff. And he was basically telling me what Will said and was like, just, stay consistent with your uploads. Just keep doing it. Keep grinding, pretty basic stuff. But it felt cool to be like, oh, wow, Will Compton knows about our podcast.
In the most bare minimum definition, yes. But that's still, I'm like, my dream is to be, so whenever they do these big documentaries with like the Big Ten, like Northwestern's the example I can always think of. No matter what the documentary is about, they bring in Michael Wilbon and Mike Greenberg from ESPN. Because they both went to Northwestern. And then Louise Ann Dreyfus, the gal from Seinfeld, she also went to Northwestern. I think that's her name, right?
I have no idea.
Anyway, the gal from Seinfeld.
I know who you're talking about, though. I can picture her.
Dark hair, yeah. They always bring those three in, no matter what it's about. It could be about Northwestern bowling, Northwestern softball, Northwestern anything. Mm-hmm. And they're there. My dream is to be, we're doing a Nebraska documentary. We better call Jacob. That's my dream. And I feel like Will Compton's that guy. Is the guy that, like, in the future, in 10 years, they'll do a Nebraska documentary, no matter what it's related to. They'll be like, we should probably get Will Compton for an interview. He'll talk good about Nebraska for 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Especially with his Barstool fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's the dream. It's a ways out, but it's the dream.
Uh-huh.
Anyway. Jontay Porter, that was just dumb.
The main reason I wanted to bring this up was the big reaction I've seen from so many people on Twitter is people making the comparison, like saying that it's insane that the NBA would lifetime ban him when there's people like Josh Giddey and Miles Bridges, having their issues. It's like, I just don't understand this line of thinking. I get why people are like, to me, it's like a very simplistic, naive way to view things, to be like, oh, well, these guys possibly did far worse things. It's like, well, yeah, but the NBA isn't your dad, or the NBA isn't like supposed to be giving spankings out to people just on like the morality of things. It's somebody was shaving points in an NBA game, or like, at least having a conflict of interest, making bets on things, trying to, it's harming the integrity of the game, literally in the game. And they proved it with an investigation. So
very fast. So it wasn't very hard to prove.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty like, can we get your phone records? Yep, you're done. Yeah. It's like, that's how fast it felt. Because this broke, it had to have been less than a month. It was April, wasn't it? When the first thing started. I will find the exact date. I'd be shocked if it's not in April.
I think it might have been right at the end of March, but either way, it's still very quick. But the point is, it's like, you're comparing it to situations that the NBA doesn't like. This is something, the Miles Bridges and Josh Giddey thing, those are things that happened completely outside of the NBA's jurisdiction, like in their personal lives. And yes, the NBA, I don't think that it should be. Which
is also wrong. We bullied both of those people. That like if Josh Giddey did
what they
actually do
did,
anything,
and that's the issue, is the NBA can't prove, like, they don't know if they did or not.
yeah,
What they did was what they should do, and allow the law to investigate and go through its process, which in both cases it has, apparently. I don't know if there's malpractice going on, but I don't know enough. I don't know if people out there who all have these strong opinions do either. I don't know, but people always think they do, is one annoying thing. But like, I'm just saying that it's like, to me, that's like getting pulled over for a speeding ticket, or like, having something done to you as a punishment for you doing something that was against the law, and then you complaining or trying to like fight back against it by saying, I shouldn't get punished because there's somebody else who did something that was worse, maybe.
I can do no crimes because Hitler murdered millions of people.
Yeah, and didn't get charged.
And I think he post this is the second time I've tried to say this word today. Posthumously. After they died, it's
posthumous. It's posthumously.
Posthumous. That's why post sounded so dumb. Because it is dumb.
Yeah.
Also, how do you say all-knowing? Like the word that means all-knowing. It starts with an O.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a really weird way to ask that. The first
I should have. I just there's a way that it's said.
Yeah, the word omniscient.
Or yeah, but in Rap God, he says omnipotent.
That's not all-knowing. That's all-powerful.
Oh,
omnipotent. Omniscient is all-knowing.
So, but it's not omnipotent. It's
omnipotent.
Omnipotent.
Yeah.
English is a wild. Well, I think that Eminem just flicked some words around to make it sound hard. But yeah. Anyway, that was a totally. But no, it's the same logic of like think about all the murderers that have done stuff before and got away with it. R.I.P. O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
But I can do whatever I want now. Like, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a level of delusion that I aspire to have someday. Mm-hmm. That's craziness.
Yeah. It's like when something, it's like, believe it or not, when something is easier to prove, it might be less of a crime, sure, but it's still going to be punished. Like, even though there's other ones that weren't punished, like this one, it's like, there's no way around the fact that the NBA figured this out, and the NBA is like the victim. In some ways, the NBA is one of the main victims of this crime. Yeah. And so it's like they have every right, and they have every right to kick out Miles Bridges and Josh Giddey too if they want, because it's a free country.
Get proven. Yeah.
I mean, even if they think that there's enough to hurt their image as a league or whatever,
they're literally just an employer. Like it's not that hard.
But it's It's each their own, and they're also not like. I don't know. They're allowing the law to do what it needs to do, which you could have complaints about them, but let the complaints be about them and not the NBA in this situation.
Yeah.
Is my take on it.
But on the record, if Giddey or Miles Bridges actually did do what they are accused of, I'm good for lifetime bans. Be gone.
Yeah.
Lifetime ban is a thing that they only use for like special things, like Donald Sterling called people the N-word and Jontay Porter gambled on games and literally shaved points.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they probably won't be given lifetime bans, but they will not be allowed to play basketball anymore.
Yeah. I would think if anything ever does get fully, if they get charged with something in court,
they'll be done. Yeah.